What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to An American in Poland. Today we're going to be talking about 3 mines that you can visit right here in Poland. And which ones should you go to? So, first mine we're going to be talking about is Cordova. Now, it is a modern salt mine. And when going there, you need to expect that you're going to be experiencing what mining is like here in Poland today. So when you first get there, you're going to go to the visitor center and check in. They're going to take you as a group over to the main shaft building. And there you're going to get outfitted with a hard hat, and they're going to talk to you about safety and get you prepared for going down into the mine. Now, the thing you have to remember, this is still a functional mine. They're still pulling salt out of here. The thing that's really interesting about this mine is in the past 40 years, they've pulled out as much salt that they did in Villageka and Boznia combined over a period of 900 years. So that just goes to show you how modern advancements in mining has kind of streamlined everything, made it much more efficient. You know, they're using by far less miners in a far safer environment and producing a much, much higher yield out of that same amount of effort. So now, first thing is you're gonna hop onto this really cool, super fast mining elevator that brings you down into the mines. When you get down in there, you're going to start walking along the tracks where they are, normally putting the mining carts full of salt. And they'll take you into some of the chambers that are no longer being utilized. You're not going to be in where they're actually mining today, but you're going to see where they have mined recently. It's a safety thing. Now, one thing that Cordova does extremely well is kind of demonstrate the mining in the last century. So basically, there's 100 years worth of history there when it comes to equipment. They have everything from mining trains to drilling equipment, crushing equipment, and it shows kind of like the modern techniques for mining here in Europe. What I didn't realize is that salt can come in so many different colors. So, for example, they've got one section of artwork that's been done in salt, and instead of being like sculptures and stuff like that, they've taken different multicolored pieces of salt and done mosaics with it, which is really, really unique. And there's every color of the rainbow. I guess I just didn't realize that salt came in colors other than either like gray and black or pink or white. So for me, that was something really unique to see blue salt and green salt and yellow salt. And I guess that this is all caused by the different types of trace minerals that are in and around the salt. So now, Anya and I did get the opportunity to purchase some salt for ourselves while we were there. We bought this block right up here. And another thing that we found interesting is that since that's been in the shed, it sweats like crazy. When you touch it on a really hot day like today, I don't know whether it's pulling moisture from the surrounding air or what, but it's soaking wet. So that's kind of interesting. But the process of buying this salt was interesting as well. So you go in, speak with a person in the office, then you go out onto a scale and go in, get your salt, then come back across the scale, and they take the difference in weight, and you go back in and you pay for your load. So there's a lot of municipalities that are going in and buying large volumes of this. I'm sure that there's in other industrial uses for the salt where they're buying large volumes. So it was really interesting to me to just kind of go through that process. I will say that Cordova was a very positive experience for me. And given that it's such a low cost, 60 zloty, it's kind of a place that I say you got to go and visit it. If you're in the area, take the opportunity and go check it out. First things first, I want to say thank you to my first 250 new subscribers. We really appreciate the support. It does help the channel grow. That being said, if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you got notifications turned on so that when we put out new content, which happens quite frequently, you'll get notified. I really appreciate you taking the opportunity to watch my videos here on An American in Poland. So now the second location we're going to talk about is Boznia. Now, Boznia is kind of the best of both worlds. It gives you the opportunity to get some of the historical perspective of salt mining here in Poland, as well as some of the newer equipment. And it makes it kind of a unique experience. Now, when you get to Boznia, the cost is a little bit more. It's 120 zloty per person, but this includes the boat ride as well as the multimedia experience. You can get cheaper tickets. Unfortunately, the only way you can get the boat ride is by doing the multimedia experience as well. And it's kind of something that I don't know if it has hit the mark yet. The multimedia experience, it really added about an extra hour onto the entire tour, and I don't think the value is there. But I digress. So when you get to Boznia, first thing you do is the same thing. You ride one of the mining elevators down. It's a little bit slower than the one at Cordova, but it's still a very cool experience. You get down into the bottom, they gather everybody together, you head into the mines, and you're going to take a mining cart, like a small train, and you go along down into the mines. So this is a really unique and fun experience that you don't get to do in any of the other mines here in Poland. Now, I was saying they do have this boat ride, and the boat ride, it's okay. You get on a small wooden boat and you go through into this dark crevasse, and there's about, I think the guy said 60 centimeters of water below you. So it's not a ton. But it gives you the opportunity to see what kind of conditions the miners were working in when they were using just headlamps. It's pretty dark, and so there is something added to that. Now, Boznia is no longer an operational mine, so it's just for historical sake that they have this tour operational. And it is the oldest mine in all of Poland, so it's worth going to. Now, the tour was about 4 hours. We had a great time. It really is a great place if you've got a family that's going. Now, I say that because of the train, the boat ride, the multimedia experience. It's just not quite there yet. They've added this. They're like monitors on the wall with different historical figures being portrayed by actors, talking about either orders going to the miners or whatnot. And then some of it is like where you see actors acting out, chiseling out salt from the walls and whatnot. So it's kind of cool. But for me, it just doesn't add an extra hour's worth of value to the experience. Now, our guide was fantastic. Told a lot of jokes. Boznia does a good job of kind of spacing things out so that, you don't have one group on top of another group on top of another group. So it makes it a very kind of an individualized experience where you don't feel like you're in a crowd of thousands of people. And so that was really, really good. But like I said, some of this, it was just kind of breaking up time and adding time where it really wasn't necessary. The one thing that's very unique about Boznia that no other mine does is you can stay in it overnight. The mine has a bunkhouse with lots of bunk beds with minimal mattresses, but that's not why you care. You don't care about the bed. It's the whole idea is that it's supposed to provide you with the opportunity to get all of this healthy salt air in, and it's supposed to be good for treating different ailments, respiratory issues, whatnot. But what makes it really cool is they've got a basketball court in the mine there, set up so that when everybody's staying at night, there's activities. They have their own cafeteria with really good food and coffee and drinks and beer, and so it's really unique. Plus, you get to go on a tour before anything else opens up, or it might even be after everything closes, and you get the opportunity to tour the mine with no one else there. So that's a really cool experience that you're just not going to get anywhere else. So the third place we're going to talk about is quite possibly one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. And that's Villageka salt mine. So Villageka, it offers tours in both English and in Polish. You don't need to go and call ahead early. The price is the same as Boznia, so it's like 120 zloty. I think you pay 20 extra for English-speaking tour, but it's worth it. You don't have to book in advance. Now, the thing that's different about Villageka is right from the start, you don't hop into a mining car and drop down or anything. You start walking down these very narrow stairs and kind of wind your way down into the mine, and that's cool. So when you get down in there, you're kind of met with history right from the start. And the thing about Villageka is it's more almost like an art museum than it is a salt mine. From not just the sculptures and the relief carvings on the wall in the salt, but when you look at the structures holding up the city that's above you, it's really, really amazing. Now, one thing that Villageka used to do that they no longer do but are discussing doing again in the future is boat rides, where you go into some of the different grottos and stuff. The one thing that's very interesting about Villageka is that there is a massive water system underneath there, and the different colors of the bodies of water, because of the minerals and stuff that's coming out of the ground and out of the salt, really makes it beautiful. But the real showstopper in Villageka is the chapel. Everything in there is carved from salt. They've got a statue of Pope John Paul II that is absolutely amazing. But the acoustics in this place are just epic. The sound is just really something special. The floor is salt. The walls are salt. The cathedral ceiling is all salt. And even the chandeliers, all of the jewels on the chandeliers are individually cut pieces of salt, and it is just gorgeous. So the difference at Villageka is they tend to focus more on the ancient mining practices. So you see a lot of the like horse-drawn equipment and hand tools and the large winches that were used for lifting salt up, that were run by horses or mules. And so its focus is more on that. and it's quite amazing. There's even the stables where they kept their horses, and these horses, they spent their entire lives underground. Granted, when they did retire, they went to a nice farm up in the hillsides. At least that's what we're told. But it really is an amazing experience. Yeah, and it is unique from the other two mines that are available. So in conclusion, what one would I go to? Well, I guess if I had to pick only one, it's going to be Villageka. You need to go and experience just the amazing artistry that's in this location and the history. Plus, there's a lot to see right in the surrounding area. So, yeah, that's the one I would pick. But for me, you really need to experience modern mining in Poland, as well as seeing the historical representation. So I would say Cordova and Villageka. Now, Boznia has its merits. It just wasn't my favorite. That being said, if I had kids, it's a fantastic experience with the rides and on both the boat and on the train. And, there's a lot of value to that. Now, I really want to say thank you guys for making it this far through the video. And if you haven't had the opportunity, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you get notifications turned on. And, we'll be putting out new content frequently here on An American in Poland. So I want to say thank you guys for making it through the video. Na razie, dzięki bardzo, and we'll see you soon.